Okay, now to look at 9.2. We're going to go through the process of actually purchasing merchandise, and in this case, on account. And when we purchase that merchandise, it becomes part of our inventory. Okay, and we have a special account, if you remember, in our chart of accounts called merchandise inventory. But we have a separate account called purchases. Okay, so the merchandise inventory is more of an actual count of what we have in the store. And I know that's kind of confusing because if you purchase it, you should have it in the store. But sometimes things get broken, things get stolen. So there's some variations between what we purchase and what we actually have in the store. So we actually do a physical inventory of merchandise, and you've seen stores doing this. You can tell when you've been shopping or whatever, and you've got people going around with clipboards and computers and counting things on the rack and things on the shelf, because at least once a year, usually towards the end of the fiscal year, they're going to actually physically count their inventory, and that becomes part of the accounting equation as the asset. Okay, so there is also the online systems, the perpetual inventory with the cash registers, keeping track of what's been sold, and that gives stores the ability to, look up, we have 3 sitting on the shelf in this store, right? And to kind of give them a track of what their sales are and their inventory levels are as well, and maybe reordering product and things like that. But for financial reasons, we do need to do a physical inventory, a periodic inventory. So on this day or during this week, we know we actually had this much product in inventory. Okay, and that is what we'll actually use for our merchandise inventory account. Now, purchases, again, is that cost account, that cost of goods sold or cost of merchandise. Again, it's an account that has a debit, normal balance. It's a cost, it's an expense, it's decreasing the capital of the company. To order merchandise, we may do a requisition or a purchase order. Okay, so we are 3 Greens products. We want to purchase from Win Lighting these products for this amount. Okay. And then, of course, down here at the bottom, it talks about our special journals again. We've talked about that. You should have notes for that. And then we're going to look at the purchases journal. This is one of those 5 special journals. And the purchase journal is pretty simple. Okay. Notice that there's really only one column for numbers. Okay. So what they've done in this case is, instead of having 2 columns, one for the debit, one for the credit, notice that they did 1 column but 2 headings. Okay, the purchases debit and the accounts payable credit. Okay, so we're always going to have 1 line, and actually we're only going to have 1 number, even though we're going to apply that number to 2 different accounts. And that's going to become important when we're posting the information. Okay, so this will be kind of different because, I've always said look for 1 debit, 1 credit. Where's your debit, where's your credit? Okay, here we're going to write 1 number, but because it has the 2 column headings, that's where our debit and credit are coming from. Okay, and when we get the bill, okay, our source document for this is a purchase invoice. Talks about that down here. That's our objective evidence. Our purchase invoice, it will, let's see, I'm trying to see if this example has terms. Yeah. The invoice will usually give you the term of sale and the due date. So if we look at this sample up here, so we ordered those products from Win Lighting with the purchase order. Now we're getting the invoice to pay. We've probably already received the product. Actually, we have, because she's checking these off, showing that we've received it. And here's a note right here saying that this is all good. We're going to pay this bill because we've received the product. Here it gives shipping information, delivery date. So delivery date was the 6th, and here, whoever ACL is, they're the person in charge of checking this off. They've kind of initialed it, and that's kind of what this little box is they're approving to pay this bill because these things have been received. Notice that there's a terms in 30 and a payment due date, okay? So in 30 means that you have to pay this entire amount within 30 days, okay? That's the terms of this sale. You may also see 2/10 in 30, something like that, okay? That means that, remember I talked about those discounts? If we pay this within 10 days, we can take a 2% discount. So it's on us to do that, okay? And it's on us to calculate that 2% when we pay it, and of course if we were on the other end of it receiving it. If you don't pay within 10 days, then you pay the full amount within 30, okay? So when we're talking about discounts, again, a little bit later, then that might be some of the terms that we see right there, okay? So just here's an example of this transaction in a purchases journal. So on November 6th, Win Lighting, okay, it was purchased $525, which came off our invoice, and then it was for $1,082.50. And again, we just have to put the number in one time, but it's a purchases debit and an accounts payable credit. Okay, so we still have the debit and credit, even though we only see the number one time. Okay, so just remember right there, you've got two column headings. Okay, so looking at the working together for 9.2, we're going to purchase merchandise on account from Pacific Supply, from Coastal Company, and from Yeatman Designs. Okay, it does tell us that it's in October, and it's on page 10, and purchase invoices are abbreviated with a P. So you can see right here we've got P162, P163, P164. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and move over to our 9.2, working together, purchases journal. Did say we were on page 10. Okay, and October is our month. All right, and purchase merchandise on account from Pacific Supply. Oh wait, what's the date? The 2nd? And it's P162. Now, because this is only going to be purchases, and it says purchase number here, you don't have to put the P in front of it. You can just put 162. Okay? And then the amount is 3252. And that's it, because that's our debit and our credit, according to the two headings, okay? So again, let's make sure we pay attention that there are two headings here. One debit and one credit. That's where our debit credit come from. Okay, then on the 7th, we made a purchase on account, Coastal Company. And this is number 163 for $532. And then on the 11th, Yeatman Designs. And this is number 164 for $866. Okay. All right, so that's all there is to purchasing on account. Like I said, pretty simple little journal. We are going to go ahead and look at 9.3 at this point because this is the posting part of the purchases journal. Okay, so now we're going to look at posting the individual vendors as well as posting the total amount of purchases for this period. Okay, so again, notice that we have our vendor, Win Lighting, okay, and so we'll put this information in here, okay, and for the, this is our accounts payable vendor, right? We owe them money. So this is the accounts payable part of this, which is the accounts payable credit, okay? So that's the credit's going to go in here. Okay, and then we'll put in purchases as a total a little bit later. Okay, so yeah, I'll just go ahead and show it to you here. So we're going to post individually, and then we're going to post the total. So when we finish with the month, we'll post the totals for the purchases debit and for the accounts payable credit. Because all we've done at this point is we just recorded the individual one. So now we have to do the controlling accounts, right? The big accounts, the actual main accounts, right? So here's our 5-digit numbers. One for purchases. Here's our purchase debit. Right here. It's coming from page 11 of the purchases journal. Okay, so when we're posting it, it's got to come, you have to have that in there. Okay, and then we'll bring that total in. This is purchases, so this is the debit. Bring it in there. For accounts payable, again, it's coming from page 11 of the purchases journal. That P is for purchases, not for page. Okay, notice here it says CP. That would have come from the cash payments journal. But here's a credit, accounts payable credit, and then we just do the balances there. Okay, so this is going to tell us to post the transaction from the purchases journal to the accounts payable ledger. Okay, which is basically posting individually, and then we're going to total and rule the purchases journal, and then we'll post those totals into the general ledgers. Okay, so this accounts payable ledger is the sub ledger. Okay, and these are going to be posted individually, and then this is the general ledger, which we'll post totals to. All right. So in your working togethers, you've got a page that has, and I wish they had it labeled, but it's not, so we're going to label it Coastal Company, Gray, Pacific, Westland, and Yeatman. Okay, these are this is our AP ledger. So our accounts payable ledger. These are all the companies that we buy from and owe money to. Again, it's a vendor, right? Not necessarily account. It's a vendor number, and these are the vendor numbers for that. Okay. So, just going down, remember when we're posting, we don't start here and go down. We start in our journal and move down through our journal, okay? So the first thing we need to do is make sure we post individually. So let's make a note here that we're going to post individually. Okay. Then we're going to post total to the AP and purchases account. Okay. All right, so posting individually. Pacific Supply. So come over here, find your Pacific Supply. This happened on October 2nd. October 2nd. Really, we don't put anything here. It's just we can put balance. We've already got that. Then this is coming from the purchases, page 10. Again, the P is for purchases, not for page. So P10. And it is this is about accounts payable, so it's an accounts payable credit, 3252. We owe them more money. Okay, get our calculator out, add that up. 925.65 plus 3252, 4477.65. Okay, vendor 230. Okay, and so when you come back over here, we will put 230 here to finish our posting. Oh, did I move that over? Okay, there's our totals if you missed seeing that. That was off screen. Okay, and then vendor 230 to finish my posting here. Next one, Coastal Company on the 7th. Okay, so up here on the 7th, Coastal Company again, purchases journal, page 10, and a 532 credit. Do the math. $2,230.88. Okay, 210 is the vendor. Yeatman Design for the 11th. Still coming from Purchases Journal, page 10, an 866 credit. And add that up. Right, credit, add it up. Now, there may be times that we come in and pay this, which makes it a debit, and we'll have to, do subtraction math, right? Pay attention to where it's going in the debit or the credit. It's important. 877 plus 866, 1743. 250. Okay, so that's posting individually. We did that. Now, the instructions said to total and rule the purchases journal. So, let's get this added up. Okay. This usually happens on the last day of the month. October has 31 days, so on the 31st. 3252 plus